On this episode of the Casually Human podcast with Martin Kigondu, we have the honor of sitting down with the seasoned thespian Bruce Makau. Bruce is an award-winning professional actor, director and producer based right here in Nairobi, Kenya. He's had a career that has seen him grace and thrive in the big three, that is theater, film and television. Most popular for his role as Jabali on the TV show Kina, Bruce has appeared in numerous TV shows such as Selena, Monica, and My Empress, with directing credits on shows such as Nganya, such as Varshita, Anti-Boss, among others. On the big screen, you most recently watched him on Tua Sanda, alongside our previous guest, Sanaipei Tande, and the well-received Sketchy Africans, ama ukipenda Sketchy AF. If you haven't watched it, je, huo ni ungoana? Had a great convo with Bruce Makau as we spoke matters faith in a secular industry, friendship, grief, gratefulness, and the space in between. Enjoy. Welcome to the Casually Human podcast. For this particular session, I happen to have a guest who I have admired for years, but also a good friend of mine, tumejuana for a very long time. And where to start? I'll start on two levels, even before we get into the conversation. The first one is, after the first few episodes, I asked around, at least the ones who were in the audience for the last two. Nilikuwa, okay, who would you like to see on this seat? Na niliongea na Mukena, nikaongea na Alan, and these are friends of the podcast, literally family in this podcast. And they were like, we'd like to see Bruce and have a chat with Bruce. So honored to have you here. That is number one. So shout out Mukena and Alan for the plug.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. And the second plug I'd like to make, this one is to you, indirectly. I started my career as a theater actor 2007, 2008, yeah? And mi nilianzia set books, traveling theater and all that. And I remember at some point I was like, I'd like to now make this professional. So I went to most of the theater houses. I watched Heartstrings, FCA, and all these different companies. And I never felt home. And this was the time TPF was a big deal. Yeah?
Yeah.
So TPF Deo Meshika, we all know of the great and mighty Judge Ian Bogwa. And so nikajipata Phoenix, and he was on stage, and whatever they were doing, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I stuck around there for quite a while. Didn't jump into acting immediately. I was a stage manager for quite a while, for about a year, thereabout. In my second year there, the second year there was around 2009, 2010, somewhere there. Stage managing means you're around for most of the things. So we read a script, and director akaniangalia akasema, one of our actors is not around. Yeah, Bruce is a little under the weather, so how about you step in? Oh, Nico, oh, me? For real? I've been waiting for this chance. And I got on stage for The Brothers Menekmas. Do you remember such a script directed by George Mungai? It had Tash Mitambo, Likarion was in it.
Senjen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I remember this
I
one.
I remember it.
Good. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is thank you for being sick. Yeah?
You're welcome.
Yeah. Because after that play, I was on stage, Sasa Aliko. Oh yeah, we remember the guy from the thing.
I remember watching you on the play.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
I think what was the play before that one?
The play before that one, Atas Kumbuki, were you in it? Yeah.
Maybe the play before or the one after.
Yeah.
But I didn't know I was cast for it.
You were cast for it.
Oh, it's good to know.
Yeah.
It's good to know. I didn't know. All
Well,
these years
Niliambia Bruce is under the weather. Hey, SM, panda stage. And so my career officially began.
You're welcome.
So thank you. But also on another level of thanksgiving to you is most of my professionally acknowledged writing projects were courtesy of a project that you and I spoke about, even workshopped. Then we never got to do it.
Yes.
And we'll come back to it, which is my faith.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. But I'd also like to say thank you, because after that, then most of my writing credits zilianza kufuata. So hapo ndio naanza.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to hear this. You should have told me way back when.
No, you choose when.
Yes.
Ningeshinda Oscar, when I
Yeah.
do, nita mention.
There's an actor called Christian Bale.
Yeah.
He keeps saying that a lot of the jobs he's done is when Leonardo DiCaprio has turned the
And your option 2.
so a lot of them, they're like, we owe our careers to DiCaprio
Yes.
because he.
Yeah.
But I don't think DiCaprio knows. That, that
in
happens.
This case,
but
in this case, you are the DiCaprio in this one.
I'm shocked. Leo nitalala na viatu.
Hey, bro, asante sana.
Yeah. So
Good.
it's been a good journey.
Yeah.
To be honest. And obviously, sometimes even for me, there've been people who've turned a script down and
You ended up
doing
picking up.
it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the industry.
Yeah, that is the industry.
Yeah, that's the
Okay,
industry.
let us now focus on the industry, really, because this is where we are, right?
Yeah.
You're now a celebrated artist, unajua, an award-winning artist, an artist who'd say they've featured on the big 3. They've done the silver screen, TV, they've done the big screen. You know, we've seen you in movies, but we've also seen you on stage. So you find that we have a lot of artists who thrive in one, but never in all 3.
Yeah.
You've done all 3, yeah? Then look at the industry around you. This is a very, for lack of a better word, secular industry, yeah? And at least the little I know about you, and yes, we are friends and all, but at least kuna side moja yako na acknowledge, which is your beliefs, your personal beliefs as a Christian and the path that you've chosen to walk on, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'd like to earmark the beginning of your career, mostly in church, connect it to My Faith,
Yeah.
short film, then fast forward to this day, yeah? Good. So let us start there. Were you conscious of you being a believer getting into this secular world?
So I remember I wanted to be an actor by age 14.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to be an actor. I think in time called Fanya KCSE.
Okay.
Sorry,
KCPE.
KCPE.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my uncle, tulikuwa kwa dining table, we were studying. He was studying law. I think alikuwa School of Law.
Okay.
And mimi nilikuwa na study for the exams. We'd woken up, I think at 3 or something. And he asked me what I wanted to do, and I told him acting. Na nakumbuka akiniambia, hey, hapana, huko kuna drugs,
Yeah.
kuna there's so much, because he was referring to the Hollywood scene.
Yeah.
And and what he knew of it. So fast forward years later, when I did, it was a play, I think Minister Karibu,
Okay.
by John Seaby. And I remember he came to watch it. I invited my grandparents to come and watch it as well. And I remember afterwards, hapo nje, he told me like, you know I was wrong. I was wrong. What you are seeing and what I was seeing are 2 different things.
Yeah.
So coming into the industry, I started in church. I auditioned for a skit. That was after high school. I was 204. It was when I got saved. So I auditioned for a script. And it was a skit actually. And we did it. And later on we did a play. Then later on I joined Phoenix.
Okay. Where is this? What church is this? To call
ICC,
Good.
Nairobi West.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I joined Phoenix, I was still new in my walk, in my salvation. But obviously there were things I knew I didn't want to do, there were things I was okay doing. And theater isn't as exposing as TV, where there's nudity. And so theater was a good starting for me. And even there, I was able to talk to the directors on the side and let them know that I'm a Christian. There are things I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want to curse. So I remember there was a play that involved, I think, a pastor, and and he was saying some things that, were vulgar and all that. And I remember my friend telling me that they were discussing and they were saying, Bruce wouldn't do this. So, so they put it aside.
Yeah.
And they remember they cast someone else. I don't know if it's, I can't say. Anyway, they did cast somebody else for that. So from a very early stage,
Yeah.
I started to state my position. And what that did was sort of put me aside. So now people I had worked with knew that I had limits. So I was limited. So the number of work I could do was, instead of this much,
Yeah.
was this much.
Yeah.
So I knew that because I only have this much, I needed it to have an impact. So I worked a lot so that whenever I got a chance to be on stage, like people would remember me.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to be there I wasn't going to pick many roles. I was
Yeah.
going to be selective. And that has gone even into now with TV and now film, which I am fortunate to be a part of.
Yeah.
So there's always that conversation that you have. And unfortunately, I think for Kenya, a lot of us have come from a Christian home, some sort of Christian space, whether you have an auntie who is saved from here, sijui till where. So you always have that. And a lot of our productions, they start the mornings with prayer. You've been on set, so you know this. So it's not a strange thing that I am saying. So with time, people have come to know, like, oh, this is Bruce. I don't think he'll do that. You just talk to him, but I don't think he'll do it. and I remember they were casting for a TV show called, I think it was Foreplay for, what is it, Showmax.
For Showmax, yeah.
And it's the Kenyan version of adulting
Yeah.
in SA. And now and men, it's you know, it's
Yeah.
about sex. It's
Yeah.
about men and their sex escapades. And,
Yeah.
and I remember, I think one of the producers in Showmax was like, Bruce, unataka ungependa kufanya. But they were laughing because they knew I wouldn't
Say yes to
I
it.
wouldn't say yes to it.
Look at
but
that. So
yeah,
clearly,
yeah.
your choices earlier sort of already built a path for you.
Yeah, I knew it was
Clearly.
easy. It would be easy in the future
Yeah.
if I started to make those choices early.
Yeah.
And so that if people are going to write me off,
Yeah.
let them do it mapema, so that we don't have that. They call me for a job and I can't do it. Then they're like, I don't want to work with this person. No.
That back and forth.
Yeah, that
but
back
how,
and forth.
How do you know to do that at a young age? You know, because here we have a cousin, or in this case, who suggests how different this world is. Yeah, of course, that's a seed of fear that has been planted, and for you to remember it at this age, it means you've traveled with it all those years. Yeah?
Yes, yes.
And of course, maybe that's not the only voice that suggests this world is too much. So how do you know to still insist on pursuing this path? Yeah, is it a conviction thing? Is it because you went on to do a lot of acting in high school? Is it because you know your parents guided you to just keep dreaming?
Yeah.
How do you know to still cling on to that dream,
The
especially at that younger age?
So it's a journey. And what I realized was, in the beginning, I didn't have, I had a lot of doubt. And a lot of doubt followed me through my 20s, into my 30s, into my early 30s. So what was happening was, I didn't act in high school. The high school I went to, there was choir. And I cannot sing to save my life or yours. So I waited. I felt like I hibernated and waited until we finished high school. Is when now I started to pursue acting. And it's been a journey. So I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Even when I went to select what I wanted to do in campus, there was the option of doing theater, because I went to Maseno University, theater studies, and there was the option of doing media. But I went with media because I was afraid, like, let me do media in case acting doesn't work out.
Yeah.
I'll have I'll have a job to support myself. Because at the time, there was a lot of fear of like, well, I'm sure it's still there, like you need to get a job.
Yeah, a plan
And
B.
plan B. So, but here's what happened. Through Campo, I used to hang out with guys for theater studies more than guys for media.
Okay.
And I ended up now starting to skip class to do assignments for these guys because they needed actors.
Yeah.
They needed rehearsals and all of that. And I remember I did a play. I remember during the holidays, during the long holidays, I would come to Heartstrings and I would act. Mm-hmm. And I remember the director at the time was Victor
Berry.
Yeah, Berry. So I worked with him during the long holidays. So I'd come do a play. I remember there was a play I took. I took the script and I went with it to school. And I directed it. I played the part that I played when I was here in Nairobi. And I directed my friends and we acted and we put up a show. And I remember a classmate of mine watched it and say, "Oh, hapa ndio unakuanga," because you're never in class.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
At least you are not lost.
Yeah.
You are somewhere. So that was the journey. So even after finishing Campo, looking for work, it was always, I would act in Phoenix, and then during the day I'd do production. So it was always that
balance.
Yeah. So I never did as many plays and as a lot of work as many people, have done. But I would do like 3 plays a year, but I'd make sure like they would count for something.
I like that.
Yes.
I really like that. I like that we've highlighted the presence of friends around you and you choosing to gravitate towards, this thing that I enjoy with these people I find interesting and exciting, yeah? Knowing you personally, I have to appreciate that you have a circle of friends that you've journeyed with for the longest,
Yeah.
And especially at the beginning, with younger friends, we are dreaming of the Oscars, we are dreaming of Cannes, we are dreaming of having our works travel the world. And you have this circle of friends who, these things that the young ones dream of, at some point you actually, your works went to these markets. Your names became spoke about. Awards were being considered for your work. So let's highlight that. At what point do the Licarions and the Bryans and the Milos come into your life?
And lest you forget, remember this episode of the Casually Human podcast with Martin Kigondu is brought to you by Sugarball. Sugarball is a casual, full-service dining restaurant featuring an inviting indoor and outdoor space with a fresh, unpretentious ambience with warm colors. Perfect for intimate dinners, business meetings, and social gatherings. Their menu is strongly based off a continental cuisine enhanced with Mediterranean and Italian influences. So go, visit, dine, take your girlfriend, your boyfriend, take your book readings, your solo dates, your meetings, birthdays, and so on to the Sugarball restaurant already. They are conveniently located at the Shell petrol station in Spring Valley, napo ni hapa tu Lower Kabete. Again, go check them out. Have a good time and tell them Sugarball came highly recommended by Martin Kigondu from the Casually Human podcast.
So this was at Phoenix.
Yeah.
It was 2009. I believe I'd just finished campus. And I'd finished campus and I was in a show called Waridi. And Waridi had just been wrapped, so we'd finished that. And I went to look for work at Phoenix. So they had reopened it. It had been closed, but now they had reopened it. And I remember the first play we did was called Shady Business. This was 2009. And Shady Business...
I stage managed for that.
You did?
I did.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Keep going.
But this is what I remember. There was an actor who... I don't know if he pulled out, I got the job, or I just got the job. After getting the job, there was an actor who pulled out and was now replaced by another actor. And this actor happened to be Licarion. And I remember we did the play. It was so much fun. We had so much. I remember it to date. And I remember Likarion came backstage after the play, and he told me he's been doing movies, short films, and if I wanted to be a part of them. And all I had was, stick with me and I'll make you famous.
I like
Because
that.
I was looking for my way into film.
Yeah.
Well, still am. So I were like, yeah, for sure. Let's talk. So he introduced me to Brian Munene, who's a writer. And so now we started to, let's do film. And we were like, okay, what do we have? So we had a borrowed camera. I think it was a 5D. And we didn't even have a tripod. We had only one lens.
It was rudimentary filmmaking.
Kabisa.
Yeah.
And I remember we planned, came up with stories, and we did 2 short films. That was Between the Lines and...
Bait.
no, not Bait. It was Mumble. Mumble was the story of an actor who's trying to learn his lines and going to... Yeah, basically, you can find them on YouTube. So,
We'll attach them.
and we shot that in a day because we only had the camera for the day. And we shot 2 short films. And funny enough, Between the Lines, we were able to take it to IMAX. We talked to IMAX, and they would show it as one of the trailers. Because I think it was maybe 2 minutes. So it was shown, a short film, as one of, and it was such a big achievement for us. I think it was taken to MVCA, and I think Likarion went for the awards. And for us, it was such a boost to now continue doing short films. And this is like in our minds on our way to do feature films, on our way to the Oscars, so to speak. Later in 2016, we participated in 48-hour film project. And I remember at this point, I was a bit tired. I was like, where is this going? Like, we keep doing short films. But now, that was the film. It's called Bait, that took us to Cannes.
Catapulted
Film
you to the
Festival.
next level.
It was the next level
Hey.
for us. I remember I got the call. I didn't go, but it was only the producer and the director who went, or the writer and the director. That was Likarion and Brian. And it was such a huge thing for us. It was more of like, you are doing the right thing. Keep at it.
I like that.
Keep at it.
You mentioned you got a call.
Yeah, I got a call from Likarion, and he told me, guess what? Our film is going to Cannes. And I was like, this is it. Tumeomoka
We
sai.
made it, bro.
We made it.
Yeah.
You know, if we never get to do film, we are good.
Yeah.
But it was such a huge thing for us. Like, just, I remember I felt like I was floating. I was so,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
I'm curious about 2 things, yeah? One is getting world recognition. In this case, as an outsider, means money is coming in. You know, that is one. So I'm curious about how you're handling the truth behind the facade of, yeah, if it was a facade. But number 2, attached to the earlier question, is the friendship thing. How are we journeying? How is this relationship going? Are you now closer? Are there fights in between? Because these are very different
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Even just the 3 of you, even without everyone else there, these are 3 very different personalities. So how are we handling friendship? Are we conscious about making time to build friendship? Are we conscious about forgiveness, you know, giving each other room and such topics around friendship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting how you mentioned that. I remember recently, I think it was last year, Brian was telling me, you know, you and I, on paper, we are not compatible at all, at all. But we have chosen to be friends. And we have something that is very common to us, and that is film. And I think as long as film is there, we will always be friends. And that friendship has evolved. We have fought, we have disagreed. I remember there was a time they used to write scripts, and because I'm saved, I'd be like, no, I don't want, I don't want to do that. Then it got to a point, and the Karen was like, you know what? We won't stop our lives for you. So we will write. The ones that you will feel like you can fit in, good. The ones you feel like you don't want, ni sawa. Acha si tufanye, because if we do this, we will never do anything. So again, now there's that, oh, we are very different. Yes, we may want the same thing, but we're also very different. So even in approach, even today, like how Brian sees films, how I see film, how Likarion sees film is very different. The approach is different. We both love film, but the approach is different. So you'll find one who loves very compact films. The other person will love commercial films, big budget. The other person will love, for me, because of as an actor, I love, character-driven films. So unaweza come na idea and everybody will be like, but it's because of their preference. Yeah. So now I think learning, or your idea is very different from what I would write or what I would come up with, but let me support you to achieve this. And so it's still, honestly, it's still a journey. We are not yet there.
Yeah.
And I think what my friend told me, like, we will always fight. So don't let that be a reason to, to walk away or to
end it all.
Yeah, to end it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. Are you intentional about other friendships away from work? Especially the ones that are consciously growing your path in faith?
Yeah.
Is there that as well? Do you have those friends as well?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
tell me a bit more
I do
on
have
that.
friends from church.
Okay.
I used to go to church and then leave without saying hi to anyone. I didn't know people. And I was okay for some time. Then I remember praying about it, and telling God that, hey, manze, I'd love to have, friends. It's a journey that's very different. So it would be good to have a support system. And God did make that possible. I met people who are as crazy as I am, who love tea, the way I love tea, movies, and we sit and we talk. Na yani ile tu ubeste, and it's a real friendship. And also, even with that, it has grown and evolved over time.
Yeah.
Where I've seen people married, and now we don't hang out as much as we used to.
Oh, tell me about it, bro.
Now you're going to visit them, they have a little of kids, and it's I'd love to spend time, but
You're not priority. Now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have friends who are now living the country, so we are now going to different churches. So much has happened.
Yeah.
But again, you understand that it's life. Yeah, it's life. But now I have these friends from, like, people like Likarion from film, and now I have others from church.
Yeah.
And now I remember pia kulikuwa na that, you're introducing them, like, now you have other best friends. Umetutoka tu hiyo.
Yeah.
Salimia mabesti zako. So ilikuwa hivyo at the beginning, but eventually, even now, they have their own friends. They have their own close friends. So now you have to, sort of a balance.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because it now makes, again, the word that you used, friendship, be a choice. It's a conscious, I am your friend, and as much as we are working, in this case, we are also running a company together.
Yeah.
We have our lives here, but we're always coming back to regroup and build each other in that way.
Yeah.
There was a question I'd asked earlier. I'd like to just highlight a bit. What's your relationship with money around the big breakthroughs? Cannes, one would expect, now money is coming in. You guys are now famous.
Yeah.
IMAX, you guys are opening. I remember it was a big thing in the industry. So what's going on? Is it true that money is coming in around then? And if so,
Yeah.
from where and how are you handling this?
There's no money. It's just recognition. And it's recognition among your peers so that you know, oh, that was your film. I'd love to work with you. So that's what we've gotten from that. But for Khan, there was never money. It's just a nini from what else?
AMVCAs.
MVCAs.
Yeah.
We really can't say, there's anything that change your life.
Yeah. But then in this case, it feels like the recognition is currency because it opens doors in other
The
ways.
recognition opens conversations with people. I remember for the Cannes Film Festival, it opened conversation for Licarion and One Fine Day, to do a film.
Yeah.
And he got to do Supermodel. And now and that one opened other doors for him to where he is now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say you get money. I think it helps present you with opportunities
Other
that
doors.
you probably wouldn't have gotten.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. I like that.
So I think the other day we were just talking and we were saying, man, it always feels like we are starting. I feel like umefika, you might be known here and there, but it always feels like you are starting. So I think we are trying to make peace with maybe this is how things are, this is how things will be, so that you manage your expectation. Because it's always, okay, you've done this, umetokea, you're like, nothing.
Yeah.
You have to go back. You
Yeah.
have to do something else and something else and something else. Yeah.
Okay. So what would that ideal be? Like a system where you feel now, tumefika, technically. What would that life be for you?
That would look like, I think, again, it's more recognition.
Recognition.
Not just home, but even beyond our borders. And opportunities to come with them. Like, yes, you've won, say, an award, like Kalasha. Now, does the industry now reward you with more jobs? Say, when you're looking at an Oscar, say Lupita wins an Oscar, and now other producers are looking for her to work with her. So now the question is for us is like, do we have this in place? I think that would be sort of a win for us, that you do work, you get recognition, and it's backed by work. It's backed by more work. The ones that you get is ndio recognition, but here, there, it doesn't really take you far. So we would like to see, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that in the industry.
Yeah.
And I think that would also be beneficial to everyone.
It would.
Because you've also won awards. Then you go home with the awards and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Mwah, mwah, mwah. The house looks
Yes.
beautiful. Lots of trophies.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Now you're unemployed
Tell me about
with an
it.
award.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
basically
hear
that,
you.
yeah.
Okay. I hear you. Asante sana. So you've recently faced grief. I'm curious what the other side of grief looks like. 1, as a man. 2, as a son. And 3, as an artist. Pole sana about the loss of your father. Let's talk about that a bit in regards to those 3 questions, or at least that one question divided into the 3 segments.
It's still very fresh for me. Tomorrow will be 1 year since he passed. And they say that, grieving or healing, it's not linear. So today you might be okay, and then tomorrow you're not. So for me, what I've been trying to do is, because I started therapy last year, what I'm trying to do is process when the emotions or the thoughts come. My interaction with my father was very, I would say we weren't very close. So, and he worked in TZ for like 10 years. So it always feels like he is away. You know, like for the past 10 years, it has felt like I have known he's away. He's in TZ. And he always comes to visit. But now it's accepting that he's not coming back. So there's a lot of accepting, and just taking in whatever I remember about him. I think it's a journey. I think you will always have that with you as a man. You know, the worst thing that could happen happened. And you always know that you will lose your parents, you will lose your family, you will lose. But it's different now when it happens. It has given me the reality that, you know, this is life and there's loss. And there's a lot of loss, and there's nothing that, you know, can prepare you, even if you know. Yeah, so it just adds another layer to how you see life.
Are you needing to approach life differently as a man now, knowing that technically our generation is next in line? You know, the moment losing a parent is like losing the front line. You know, now you
are the front
next.
line.
Yeah. Has that made you now approach life differently as a man?
I think it has given me understanding that this is life. I honestly don't know what to say about. I think it's something that I'm learning as I go.
Yeah. Only way, and such is life. Again, my condolences, man.
Thank you.
Have you since played a character who went through such a season in their life?
No, funny enough, I haven't worked since.
Okay. Sketchy wasn't within the last 1 year?
Just Sketchy. I think that was like for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that was a comedy.
Yeah.
That was a light. It was something light, and I'm grateful it was.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I have, you know, worked and sort of used that experience or anything like that in my work as an artist.
Okay, all good, because that then would have, we would have studied how it was before and how it was after that.
Yeah.
But all good. Speaking of Sketchy, which is one of your most recent projects, what is the biggest difference, you think, between Bruce showing up at the Phoenix for Romeo and Juliet, which now becomes one of your first major hits, and Bruce right from the set of Sketchy? In fact, Bruce, after the premiere of Sketchy. These are two different artists. Technically it's one, but what is the difference between these two? What are you most appreciative of in that journey between becoming?
Yeah, so for Romeo and Juliet, when we did it, I was still working in production. So I didn't have a lot of time, and it's Shakespeare. It's very demanding, and we only had like three and a half weeks to stage it. And with the lines, it's a very demanding, and I needed to be free like, during the day to go over it, to have an understanding. So my performance for Romeo and Juliet, I didn't feel like it got to where I wanted it to be.
Okay.
So what happened was, afterwards, every other job I took, that's when I was like putting in a lot of effort, because I felt I could have done better. So there's always more to be done. So I think that really helped me. It really pushed me to push myself to be better. And it showed. I remember the play after, it was amazing. It went really well, and I was proud of my performance. And I think I have always pushed myself. When it came to Sketchy, I came in like 2 days before, because another actor, another famous actor,
Did the thing.
was not available. So they asked me to do it, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous because I felt it was a lot of work and I had no time. We had a very good director, Vincent Mbaya, and I told him, listen, if you think my performance will suck, then don't give me this job. But if you trust that in these 2 days we can do something, then be honest with me. Like, at least I don't want to fail. Because a film, at least play, people will watch and leave. And it's only 1,000 people who will watch, but a film, it's more. And a film, even now, the people who haven't heard of Sketchy, they look for it. So I was very like, if it doesn't work, just let me know. So he was like, no, I believe in you, I've worked with you, let's do this. And he really held my hand, to be honest. And even the other actors around me, Kinanyo Kafi, they were very supportive because they knew at what point I had gotten into the project. And yeah, and it was a success, I believe, and I hope people get to watch it.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched Sketchy Africans,
Yeah,
please do.
If you haven't, shame on you, by the way. Yeah, unadu nini kwanza, if you're like Nairobi people, watch it already. It's always showing at a cinema around. It's actually showing now at Unseen, right?
Yes, at Unseen.
Yeah. By the time tunamaliza hii episode, by the time it's being released, maybe not, but look for Sketchy Africans. Go to Bruce's pages and just check out where it's showing.
Yeah.
Good. Then one last question.
Yes.
What would you tell your younger self? You know, a younger self who's a believer jumping into this big industry, which is very secular. Pockets of doubt, but here you are many years later. What would you tell him? Just a word or two.
So this is what I'd tell my younger self. So number one, when I got to 33 is when I decided that I am pursuing acting, because I sat down with myself. I like to tell this story because I feel like it's important, and even to the people who will watch this. I sat down with myself and I asked myself, Bruce, what is it that you want? If you are 70 today, what is it that you will regret not doing? And my whole being said acting. And I was like, okay. Now I had another meeting now with God, and I told him, I have decided I'd love to be an actor, but I don't know how it's gonna work out. So the how, I am leaving it to you. So I prayed it and I left it at that. I had a production house. I set up, I closed it after 6 months, and I put aside some money for savings. And I remember I looked for work. I auditioned for like 7 months before I got a gig for theater. And that one, later on, I got another gig for my Empress. Later, I got another gig for Kina. So my point is, and what I would tell my younger self is, trust God. Leave it to Him. Leave the how to Him. you focus on the performance and the art and all that. Put it number one. Stop trying to have all this plan B, plan C. You know, it's not like I made money from them. So just have this number one, and things will work out. The other thing is, things take time. It's a career that you will do for the rest of your life, God willing. So take your time.
There is no rush.
There is no rush. This is your life. It doesn't have to be like this person or that other person. And you know, life here is not linear, that you work, get married, have kids. It could go whichever way. So you just be patient and be open and just let things work out.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
I like that. And I promise to come back to my faith short film, and that would be an apt way to close. So there was a dream for a bigger my faith thing. Stuffy job, not
Yeah.
after job, low-key. Is that still happening?
I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly,
good.
I don't know. That one I left it. If it ever comes,
Good.
it will come. If it doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't. We did a short film. It's called My Faith. It's on YouTube. It was an amazing, amazing short film. We tried to do something beyond that, but it hasn't worked out. So there could be a reason why it hasn't worked out, and there could be and maybe it's because it's going to happen maybe in the future
Yeah.
or never.
Or never. It's a yet.
Yeah. I love watching British shows because they'll have a season with 3 episodes. A whole season, 3 episodes. Wanasema hapo ndio story ilifika. And they don't want to force things. So I'm also learning not to force. If the story, then we leave it at that.
Good enough.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Thank you so much, Bruce. Mine is to celebrate you, not only as a peer, but also as a Kenyan who consumes a lot of what we put out. Thank you for your consistency, but most of all, thank you for keeping the faith. And I can't wait to see where this journey goes, man.
For sure.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much.
A round of applause for Bruce, please. Thank you.
On your next visit to Sugar Bowl, treat yourself to the Caribbean chicken and your favorite drink, limoncello. The Caribbean chicken is a savory dish with marinade chicken drumsticks served with pineapple, salsa, and Mexican rice. Nicely paired with a limoncello, which is a vibrant blend of zesty lemon and fresh mint, bursting with sun-soaked sweetness, smooth, bright, and irresistibly refreshing. Ooh la la, Maze, I'm hungry already. Hey, let's go get some. See you at Sugar Bowl. And that's it for this episode of Casually Human Podcast with Kigondu. Until next time, stay dope out there, Maze. You can check us out and recommend to your friends on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and definitely on the YouTube. As for me, I'm at Kigondu on all different social media platforms, at KIGONDUW. And as a podcast, we are at casually_humanpod_ on IG. And you can check us out on Twitter, you can check us out on TikTok and every other platform that we exist on. Usijali, I'll go articulating where we are, then you can share. Till next time, peace.